Welcome to the Rustic Garden. Today I want to answer two questions. Does container size matter when you're growing tomatoes? And why are my Determinate tomatoes turning yellow and looking like they're dying? First thing is, in the pots right there, that's a 2.5 gallon pot, the white container, and the gray container is a 5 gallon pot. These are both Early Wonder Determinate variety, let me let the wind stop, Determinate variety tomatoes, and they were planted at the same time, came from the same seeds, really came out of the same transplant pack. And you can see the 2.5 gallon Early Wonder stayed smaller. It was watered the same time, it was watered a little bit extra. You can see that I put a tray in there just to make sure it didn't dry out. I didn't use a tray in the 5 gallon pot. They were fertilized the same way, but size does matter when it comes to containers for tomatoes. If you have a smaller container, really anything under 5 gallons, you're going to get a much smaller tomato. It's just not going to grow to size or close to size in a small container, and that's again 2.5 gallons. And sometimes it's tempting to put the little tiny baby transplants into smaller containers, and they do well, they grow well, but they're just not going to get to size. And you can see how much bigger the variety that was grown in the 5.5 gallon container got. They were right next to each other, and like I said, same exact care. So you definitely want at least a 5 gallon container when you're planting tomatoes. And if I didn't say it enough, 5 gallon container. You're just going to be disappointed if you use anything smaller. The other question I get a lot is, why is my Determinate tomato turning yellow or dying? And you can see these are starting to die out. This is a Determinate tomato too. It's starting to yellow. Across here in the container back there, that's a tomato that's dying out. And they die. That's what happens with the Determinate tomato. In about 60 days, 55, 60, 65 days, a Determinate tomato will get up to size. It will have flowered, bared a lot of its fruit, and it'll start dying off. One of my plants, the one over to the left that I just showed you, is dying a little more quickly than I thought that it would, but I think it's because it's been so hot here. But as the tomatoes get to size, you have a lot of them on there, they'll usually start ripening. At that same time, the leaves start dying out. So you'll get your tomatoes, your plant will die off, and then you're done. And that's what a Determinate tomato is. It's a plant that grows to a set height, a predetermined height, sets its fruit, does its thing, gives you tomatoes, and then it dies off. So I hope that answered two questions that I get asked a lot. One about what size container do you need for tomatoes, and why did my tomato die out early, or what is a Determinate type tomato. Please check out my blog at www.therusticgarden.blogspot.com, and also check out my YouTube videos. Thanks.